Okay. Ooh, Dolomite is my name is one of my favorite things I've seen in a long time. Eddie Murphy coming back into popular culture is awesome. I am very much there for it, as the young ones are saying.
It was good. It was crazy. It was an interesting look at production back in the day, for sure. Hadn't seen him in anything in a long time.
He's gonna start. He said he's gonna do a stand-up hour.
That's what he said.
Which, if you go back and look at his stand-up, like, he better hope that a lot of these people that are canceling people on Twitter don't ever go watch like Raw or anything like that.
You think that might be too much?
Because he's got some pretty, like, if you rewatch it, a lot of it doesn't hold up because he's like incredibly homophobic.
It's back in the day, man. That suit doesn't hold up either. You can't rock that anymore.
Pardon me, but I wore my red leather sleeveless vest and red leather pants to work today and got a lot of compliments.
Yeah.
No.
It's surprising in that town. I feel like we might be ostracized.
I really like Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit was awesome. I thought she should have won. I think
The Two Popes was also very good.
Laura Dern won.
I really enjoyed that
for Marriage Story for Best Supporting Actress, and or Best Actress. I think it was.
I love Laura Dern. I love her I love her father. Like,
did you watch Marriage Story?
No, I did not.
It was a bummer. Like, it was about.
I don't want to watch that for the same reason I never wanted to watch Revolutionary Road.
That one was that was fucked up.
Watch two people be in a miserable relationship. I don't know, just close my eyes and remember being in one.
They should have called it Divorce, but I think that was taken by an HBO series, so they had to try to think outside the box.
Yeah. Another thing I love all the people in, but had no interest in watching at all.
Yeah, I couldn't watch it either. If they would have talked, I don't know. It's just something that it's a hard way to sell something. You know what I mean? Say, hey, would you like to watch a show about
a crumbling marriage
and a bummer?
Yeah. It's like, no, I most certainly don't. I liked Harriet. I thought that was very good.
That was good. They had Janelle Monáe in there. She's like my favorite.
The Gentleman was awesome as well. I thought that was really funny. I mean, it wasn't a good movie, really. It was a turd, but I'd call it a 3.5. It's a gilded turd. It's three turds. Gilded turds.
Before we get into 2020, what about 1917? You were asking about that earlier. What did you think about that?
Well, I didn't watch it, but I am a history buff, and I know a lot about World War I, which made me not want to watch. My brother is deployed overseas right now in a war zone, and I don't want to watch like the worst war in modernity. You know?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But this one,
I'll watch it at some point.
Rarely do I watch a movie where the cinematography leaps out at you and you're watching it and you're like, Jesus Christ, this is immersing, super immersive. and this was one of those movies where they have crazy long shots and stuff, long takes that completely
John said the
bring you into it.
cinematography was what was his. I did watch The Five Bloods,
Yeah, that was good.
which is a war movie, I guess.
Well, you want to get into 2020? You can't wait. Let's do it. Okay,
I'm sorry.
Bad Boys. What about Bad Boys for Life over there? Did you watch that one? The newest Bad Boys movie? It's over here. So they're in order of.
I did see
recent.
that one. Yeah, I did see that one.
I feel like
that was interesting. I could have done without it.
It didn't bring anything new to the series. I feel like they were like, "Come on, Martin, you have to be in it." And he's like, "I don't give a fuck about this."
Sagan pointed something out about Will Smith movies that is 100% true. Try and find me one where this doesn't happen. In every film he appears in, there's a scene where he's walking through like an office or a crowd, and everyone like is applauding him or like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, it's so weird. Like,
they've tried to make movies without it.
Yeah, but, okay. It didn't happen where he's like living in a bathroom with his son. But they do it in like every other one.
That's not true. At the end of the movie, when he gets the job, they introduce him right to the office and everything. Like, hey, you remember the guy from the lobby? He's got a job now.
100%. 100%. Sagan and I just did a cartoon. Watched a cartoon where he plays the voice of the lead character, and they even have like even that scene is in this film.
They had to incorporate some animation with people applauding for some reason in an office because
it was weird.
He walked into a room and every time people started applauding. It's something they can't prevent.
You can tell that he was heavily involved from the pitch onwards, because if you pitched this sans Will Smith, it would have never been made. They just made it because they were like, Will Smith is attached to this project. We're going to greenlight it. But it's like a spy gets turned into a pigeon.
Oh, yeah. I didn't watch that one. Did you?
It's not.
You watch that one?
Well, my wife is a preschool teacher, so we got to keep up on what the kids are watching.
I watch I don't know if you noticed from the list here, but I keep up and have recently gone back and caught up on Frozen and Frozen 1, and I watched Onward recently. Have you watched Onward?
I have seen Onward. I liked Onward. I liked Pets 2.
Pets 2? Oh, yeah. Secret Life of Pets 2. Those were good. They were entertaining. I can't remember. The story doesn't
another new one about pets, and it's not good. Pets Unleashed, or something like that.
That was one of those ones that seems like the one that you release where the name looks like where you have the brand confusion and stuff.
We did one like that for Onward. It's a Chinese bootleg, or it's like a Chinese knockoff of the Secret Life of Pets. You think it's in the same universe, or at least like made by the same people. And you start watching it, and it's like, oh, this is like heavily like the CCCP paid for this to be made. Like, it's unmistakably Chinese.
Yeah, they have a lot of propaganda built into the storylines.
A wee bit. Yeah, they're like, the Uyghurs aren't people. Bark, bark.
Like, no, nobody's allowed to go outside. Yeah, not even we wouldn't even want to go outside. We would rather run wild within the confines of our apartment than ever go outside.
Tibetans don't want to be Tibetans. They want to be Chinese, and they want us to run our oil pipelines through their sacred, like temples and shit.
They want to bring their Buddhist philosophies into our country and let us distribute them for them. They want.
Yeah, we're just going to change
responsibility for the spreading of their religion. We have better resources.
Editing.
We have good resources. Yeah, of course. I mean, when it goes through our system, there's going to be some alterations to some of the language in order to get it to function within the system. But we are going to help you get the word out. Our advertising system is amazing. Some may call it propaganda, but
I like the two popes a lot.
Yeah, that was funny. Was
really good. I like that a lot.
It was very well written because it was all dialogue and like little conversations
and flashbacks.
It was hard to make them look young, but it was a cool story, you know.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
They made Anthony Hopkins look extra old for that.
Oh yeah. And speaking of the opposite of that, The Irishman. What the fuck, Marty?
I know. I had to try 3 times to get all the way through it.
There is nothing sadder than seeing a man that you thought could, would and could murder you with a ballpoint pen at a bar. Seeing him as a feeble old man.
I mean,
in case, or he actually was the best. But like De Niro, seeing him kick that guy's ass outside of the grocery store, like very unconvincingly, was sad.
it was hard to watch like, I feel like if you're going to do the de-aging, it needs to be like, you need to minimize the usage of it. And they introduced us to the character in that world, in that time. And you had to get used to that reality with him. He still moved like he's his current age, because you can't change that very much. But it was put on a young Robert De Niro body, so it looked very like jostly.
I really disliked it. I didn't like it. It's like Martin Scorsese.
It was hard to follow the story.
Heard that you could do this, and he was like, "Guess what, guys? We don't have to be old anymore." It's like, no, dude, you're still very fucking old.
Well, I feel like you want to go back to De Niro, and you're like, I heard I might not even have to switch to DiCaprio anymore. I might be able to stick with De Niro, my favorite duh.
Yeah, my original muse. And then maybe I can get a new septum so I can start doing cocaine again and be great at movies one more time.
I wonder what's
stop doing coke, stop making good movies.
Right, the story really slowed down. Like, you compare this to Goodfellas.
Yeah, like as soon as he stopped doing cocaine, he started making shitty movies.
Well, you can't...
I mean, not shitty, like still much better than like the effort of a lot of lesser directors, but like
my favorite movie,
he's like
was
Fat Elvis now. You know what I mean? Like I'm just waiting for him to die on the shitter.
Well, I think my favorite movie is The Departed that he did.
Yeah, and he was not on cocaine. Or it was so good, I would be like, man, did he relapse?
No, I just switched over to Adderall for that one.
Oh,
very symmetrical.
Honestly, you might be on to something there.
The symmetry of it lined up. The symbolism was, he was on another level.
My favorite thing he ever did was The Last Waltz. The performance, the last performance. Remember we watched that?
Speaking of cocaine.
Yeah, lots of cocaine in that one.
Na 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 na.
Yeah.
Na na na.
Hit again. They had to edit a coke rock out of Neil Young's nose.
They didn't edit it out. They left. Then they
left.
Well,
I don't think they
a lesser one in there, because you could still see some.
It was gonna they'd have to put a black spot over his nose to get it all away, but I think they did the best they could in post production in the late 70s.
Yeah, looked great. He looked great.
The King, I thought, was super fascinating. I really enjoyed that. Like, I like any story that is like the tale of someone that does not like eschews like a role he should be playing, but then takes it on because he just like has to.
Well, I feel like it was a good way to tell the Shakespearean story of Henry, and tell it in a way where we're not used to, because usually you're used to hearing his story in the context of, Richard and the people that came before him and after him, like the Henry after and before and everything. And you're not used to just seeing this story told as like an epic. And I thought they did a really good job of doing that and having the art feel like it's just one story, and not feeling like you need to see a whole bunch of other stuff in order for it to make sense.
Almost like how whatchamacallit, oh my god,
Timothée Chalamet did amazing too, Joe.
It's almost like how they retold the Odyssey in the
Troy.
Oh fuck! What is the movie about the like prisoners in the bluegrass and the George Clooney?
I think you're thinking of Troy with Brad Pitt and his beautiful body. No,
100%
I'm gonna come
not
back. I'm gonna
that
come
one.
back to Troy. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou is what you're trying to think of.
Yeah,
And they did a
yeah.
great job in that of telling the story of Odysseus in a
Yes.
metaphor. That was actually okay. So, and to not to jump away, but just to talk about something similar. Antebellum did a good job of kind of speaking through metaphor. They came a little heavy-handed with it. It wasn't like "Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou" is almost so much of a metaphor that you
Yeah,
can't
it's so subtle that
get
you have
to
to
the
really be
story
looking
unless
for
you
it to
see it.
get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the king was amazing like that. Like you said, it has its own arc. It feels complete. They did a good job of revising that old tale, just like the old one from Homer. And the actors did a really awesome job. Like I hadn't seen him in anything until I saw him in that. And now the Dune trailer dropped. I don't
Oh,
know
I
if you
can't
watched
wait for
that.
Dune. I just got my sister-in-law to read Dune over like Christmas. She's like really into it, which is
I did
hilarious.
just re-listen to Dune, Dune Messiah, and Children of Dune.
Oh yeah. There, dude, and other than Star Wars, it is probably the most fleshed out fan fiction. Like it's really cool. There's a lot. Like the canon is incredibly deep.
Well, they said that because of when it came out, and Lucas has acknowledged it, that it was extremely, heavily influenced by Frank Herbert and Dune. Star Wars was.
Mm-hmm.
What he did was he took a lot of the world building from Dune and combined it with Joseph Campbell's uh, hero's journey
Mm-hmm.
and created a story using the hero's journey in the world and ideas that Frank Herbert had created. Because if you watch Star Wars, there's like there's a great uh, like a great canvas that's out there for him to tell a really epic story about uh, political warfare and how pointless it is and how cycles are going to happen no matter what, and that one system follows another because of the way that humans behave or the way that beings behave or whatever in the galactic system. But he focused more on hero, battle, redemption, uh, go home the hero type of idea, whereas Dune wrestled with those epic like social issues and questions about
Yeah,
what
like human
messiahs are
nature.
meant, like
Yeah.
what uh, was it, charismatic leaders, like the danger of charismatic leaders, uh, and you should always question a charismatic leader because you will usually follow them without question, and that's something to be feared because a lot of people will just hand off their freedom or their autonomy
Yeah.
to someone who sounds like they know what they're doing. Like we do it all the time with accountants or attorneys or doctors, where you're just like, I see the plaque, so I guess I'm just gonna do what you said.
Yeah. I mean, the other big takeaway from Dune is like how humans relate to like the world around them in terms of like
Mm-hmm.
ecology, like turning the desert like
Yeah, that was
verdant and
huge.
green, and like I really enjoyed Dune as a kid. I moved around a lot, and so
Mm-hmm.
like when we'd move, it would usually be right after the school year. So we'd move to like a new town. I would know no one, and I'd have like all summer by myself before school started, and so I found myself reading a lot of or just a lot of everything, and Dune was one of my favorite things I ever read as a kid.
That's the same thing that Charity did. Like she was in, like, I never read fiction, and she read a lot of fiction moving around, and
Yeah.
like you're exploring worlds because the world you're in is kind of hostile because you're new. So you're like exploring like she read a lot of Stephen King, just like you probably read a lot of Stephen King.
I didn't like Stephen King.
Okay. That was one that people that like an explorer's horror genre.
Yeah, and also like it's so something big. That like voracious young readers tear through Stephen King. It's not that I didn't read Stephen King. Like, if you're a reader, you've read at least a few, just because like sometimes you're going to find yourself at least at one point where you're like at someone's vacation house or something, and the only fucking book there is a Stephen King book, and it's raining outside and there's no TV.
Yeah.
Which makes it's like, great. Now I'm reading it.
Which was...
But I remember reading The Shining and loving it.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 2 on here.
But then a lot of it, he was just like a blackout drunk guy that was like just pumping them out like dog turds.
Well, I know that's what I was saying earlier, is that if you're, like you said, if you're a voracious reader and you just want content, and most readers would like to read series by the same person and have like one writer that you're just diving into, and he's someone who, like, other writers talk about the amount of content that he puts out, and they're just like, I don't know who knows. And he's like, yeah, I edit when I write, which means you don't really edit. You know,
you don't edit.
Turn in like 500-page manuscripts.
He just has like he does have a mastery of the language, so like he can black out and write like something cogent. But
yes, exactly.
I mean, I learned fairly early on that wasn't what I was looking for in.
He didn't want to meander around in his brain that much.
Yeah, I just didn't. I stopped wanting to read things that I didn't think had substance. And Stephen King books are like watching a Stephen King movie. Like, it's not like it's not life affirming or life changing, or no ideas you hold are challenged. It's not something you're going to come out of with like a new perspective on something.
I think that
probably maybe like, don't work so hard or you might axe murder your family.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the literal message that Jack tries to hand out to the world. But I think that his stories and his world is a lot more valuable in teaching lessons when you think about it in the scale that he's trying to tell it, because he's telling these small stories that are perspectives on a universe that he's creating. So some of that story might seem boring because he's telling parts of it to build the world, and that's not the part of the world you want to be learning about right now. You're just learning about someone's perspective to understand how they're perceiving.
There's a lot of
that story,
backstory that you need to,
like The Stand. The Stand's one where you get so much of like perspective, character building and perspective building, because the big thing is changing the way that the world is. So you have to know how people think to understand what they're seeing as characters.
Yeah. I would put him in the same like tier as like John Grisham. Yeah. Like, it's the kind of book you buy before you get on a plane.
I know.
You're like, oh, fuck, I forgot a book, and they only sell 3 books here. I guess I'm reading the newest John Grisham.
I think that like Dr. Sleep and The Shining were kind of trying to, and it's one of the things Charity really liked that helped me kind of recognize that, is it was almost talking about how thin the line, like the layer is between our world and the afterlife, and some places like act as tuning forks for that type of stuff. I think that's one of the things they were highlighting there, is like when really
definitely
intense, horrible things happen, that the trauma can leave a mark on the place.
Yeah.
What'd you find there?
Most certainly. It's sorry. I was reading.
Okay, that's
but, I don't know. Like reading stuff like that always makes me feel like I'm trapped in a dorm room with some stoned guy telling me about ley lines. It's just like, okay, cool.
I could see why you didn't get into Stephen King.
Like
That's
Sonoma
like
has
what every one
power.
of his
No shit.
stories is about. Like every
Yeah.
one of them is about supernatural. Like it's really about pagan religions is what it's about, and how when you're taught traditional religions for your whole life, that shit seems like a horror movie because you're like being touched by ghouls and like the gods of Native Americans and
I think
the
I
gods of
grew
your
up with
animals and
like
shit.
demons and weird shit
Shit's too real
enough
for you.
that like I wasn't looking. Well, I didn't think any of that was real to begin with. So like Exorcist movies didn't freak me out, like because I had already like firmly rejected most of that. I grew up in a Pentecostal church in the Deep South where like people spoke in tongues and they did like legit like they thought like mentally ill people had like demons. Like it's very strange. So I was like, oh, this is all bullshit, and I'm not really looking to delve into it.
Well, speaking of mental illness, did you watch The Joker?
Oh yeah,
Joker
I saw that
was
with you in
awful.
theaters.
It was pretty.
You, me, your wife, and my wife saw the Joker in theaters.
Was that the one that we got the ticket for because it
We
started
got free.
weird?
I'm sitting less
I
than
still have
5
it.
feet away from my 2 free tickets.
Me too. I was asking Sherry the other day if she wanted to hazmat up and go in.
I just can't bring myself to go sit in an AMC right now.
Yeah.
I desperately need to go buy new pants because the quarantine has made me go up like at least a half inch in waist size. And like when I'm driving my car, I unbutton my pants. And one day I'm gonna get pulled over, and the cops gonna be like, "What the fuck have you been doing?"
Gain weight, officer. Nothing inappropriate.
Sorry,
here.
I'm not pulling my dick out
intake.
at other drivers. This isn't like an ease of access. This is like a ease my painful bowels from the stranglehold of my pants.
Only inappropriate thing going on around here is my diet. Okay, officer, it's fine.
There was recently a woman that got pulled over in like Enid or something, and the doctor was like, or not the doctor, Jesus, the police officer was like, "Your license is suspended. You got to get out of the truck. I got to take you in and pound this bad boy." And she's like, "No, please, I have to poop." And he's like, "What?"
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "Fuck you," and just like throws it in gear and hauls ass out of there. And then they end up arresting her after she crashes her truck because she is not a defensive driver.
Turns out
not
her delayed
a great driver.
gratification is not great.
Well, if you got to be looking for the pit maneuver, man. If you're going to run from the cops and you don't know how to avoid the pit maneuver, why are you even running?
She was more focused on the shit maneuver. She wasn't even thinking about that. Was
and
her
she kept saying that like as they were like pulling her out of the car. She was like, "Come on, let me go poop." And they're like, "Yeah, we're going to throw you in a cell where you can poop in front of 25 other women."
Which is fucked up. You know, if they were on live PD, they'd be like, "Oh, Sergeant, what do we do with this one?"
Small town police force. I'm surprised one of them didn't just ask her to poop on the side of the road so you could record it.
Right. No, you think they'd be, especially in a small town, you think they'd be more gentlemanly. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. You need to poop.
I had that problem one day. Let me take you down. We'll take care of you.
Eurovision was a trip. Sagan didn't know that Eurovision was like a thing, like the contest,
like a real
the
thing?
actual. Yeah. And I think she was more fascinated by me showing her the actual Eurovision footage than she was by the film.
I think y'all should go as the Eurovision siblings. I think it would be with your long hair. I think you could pull it off. I think it would be interesting.
I'd have to grow the hair back out.
You could put extensions. You could. It doesn't have to be real.
The job market's too shitty to be growing my hair back out.
You don't have to go full method or anything. You could always.
That's true. I could
do
a wig.
Yeah. It does need to be more blonde for that. You're the wrong Norse for that story.
I love seeing Will Ferrell play 30 years younger than he actually is. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and Pierce Brosnan as the hateful father was really good.
Oh, big fan.
That one was one that also didn't have a lot of storyline to it.
Dude, I
It was
hate
just about
how
how
well Pierce
crazy
Brosnan
Eurovision is.
Pierce Brosnan is aging so well.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me feel like shit.
Did you watch The Old Guard?
Which one's that one? Oh, yes, I did. That was fascinating. The one where she can't die.
Mm-hmm. It was
spoiler alert,
pretty epic.
Charlize Theron. Did you watch the car racing show that she produced for Netflix?
What was it?
Or it might have been for Amazon. Hold
on. I did not. What was it about?
It was called Hyperdrive.
Oh, yeah, it's right here. Okay, got it pulled up.
Dude, it was.
What is it?
You should watch some of these. It's a car competition, and they do this. One of the episodes is like you can tell she found this girl, this drift racer from South Africa that doesn't have like a ton of money, and invites her to come on the show. And her dad sells his tow truck, which is like the family's source of income, to get her there. And then her car dies in like the first like 30 seconds. It's the saddest shit I've ever seen. Like they do this whole like 20-minute profile on this girl.
Is it this girl?
She gets behind the wheel of a car and then just, I don't remember.
You don't remember what she looked like?
No, it's definitely not that girl. She's not. That girl's white. The girl I'm talking about is a black South African girl.
Oh, okay.
Huh. And Charlize Theron was like, I'm a white South African, so, infer what you will. I should probably do the right thing here and get this little girl over there. Instead, she was still like, let her dad sell his bullshit.
That's what I was wondering. Like, there's no redemption on that either. Like, oh, that was a bad decision.
Oh yeah, exactly. They're like, dude,
responsible.
Her dad's an adult.
Yeah, he
should have kept his lorry.
I know my father would never do that. So, what about? There was one more that we just watched. Let's
Mulan.
See. Mulan. Did you watch Mulan?
We did.
What'd you think of Mulan?
I like the cartoon more.
Yeah, it seemed like it fit more. I feel like they like doing the live action
animated dragon.
They should have put a dragon in the movie. I feel like it would have blown their budget to smithereens if they had a dragon in there.
Chris Tucker voiceover of a dragon. That's all I want.
They could still. They'd probably use Kevin Hart these days, but
they probably would, especially after Chris Tucker got caught on Epstein's flight logs.
He was. I mean, all the ladies said that Chris Tucker was a nice gentleman. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to be the secret keeping type. After
that's true.
Everything that came out, I feel like they would have gone ahead.
I don't know. Maybe they're all just like really big Rush Hour fans. They are the age range and demographic.
Yeah, it's like I don't care what Jackie and Chris did to us. That movie is a timeless classic.
Jackie Chan's got his own issues right now.
What was it? Is he getting Me Too'd or?
No, oh God, no.
Talking about Korean people or what he do wrong?
No, he said like he is a like really good friends with one of the like political adversaries of Xi Jinping or Xi Jinping. I don't know how to say it. The president
you're talking about, yeah.
Xi
Oh, him.
Jinping.
Yeah. I was wondering who you're talking about.
And so the Chinese government has recently like seized several of his properties
for being friends of the opponent.
Well, I mean, no, they're saying it's for some convoluted tax reasons, but it's definitely for that. Yeah.
I mean, let's see American action stars don't have a history of paying their taxes, so I feel like it's something that you could look into.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Wesley Snipes didn't set a good trend for action heroes on that. I think he was the one that blew the whistle, let everybody know that you should look into him.
That did happen. Poor Blade.
Did you see Vivarium? Yeah, I know. Steven Dorff is doing fine, smoking cigarettes like a fiend.
Steven Dorff hasn't actually quit smoking cigarettes.
No, he got dropped. Yeah, Vivarium. He got dropped by Blue because he picked up smoking again. He was like, "Fuck that! I like cigarettes." This movie was crazy.
I have not seen that.
Really good. Imogen Potts, really good. Jesse, always good. Disturbing, but really good. And this one's one where it's definitely like a metaphor. They definitely have a little bit of a message on this one. But you should check this one out.
I'm into it. I'll definitely watch that. Imogen Poots. What a great name.
Poots.
Imogen Poots.
She's got an accent, so it's like Imogen Poots.
Imogen Poots. Man, if she were an American girl, she would have been bullied into suicide.
Right? It's probably her stage name, too. So American probably wouldn't select that one.
No, it's definitely not her. Oh, fuck. Her name is Imogen Gay Poots. She would have definitely been bullied to death in America.
Yeah. So you think that's her birth name?
It's 100% her
birth name. Born Imogen Gay Poots. Yeah. Was she born the year that...
she's my age. So she was born in... Or no, actually, no. She was born in 89. So she's a year younger than me.
Okay. I was wondering...
Her dad's name is Trevor Poots.
I know a guy named Trevor Potts.
I think I do too.
Yeah. But her
older brother, Alex Poots, is a model.
I mean, she's pretty. She was in what was the other movie? That it was like a zombie movie on Netflix where the kid was riding around a skateboard with a samurai.
Fright Night. Fright Night.
Was it Fright Night?
No.
It had Matthew Broderick in it. Let's see. It was a series. It was like a short series on Netflix.
I shall see.
Broderick. But yeah, she was the main person on. It was a good series. Daybreak. Couldn't think of that. Yeah, here, check it out.
I have not seen that.
It was really good. You'd like it. He rides a skateboard.
Oh, I have seen that. Okay, yeah. And the kid does like
breaks the fourth wall.
Asides to the camera a lot, and like they go like, yes, that is good. I enjoyed that.
It was good. Very entertaining. Good friendship story.
Have you watched The Binge? It's like The Purge, but with drugs and alcohol.
No, I haven't.
It's pretty good. I enjoyed that.
I feel like The Binge in relation to The Purge would be more like just opulent spending. Like, yeah. So, I don't know which one we were talking about right before that. We were talking about Daybreak for a second. But I know that Antebellum was really awesome. You need to watch that one.
I'll watch it.
I almost wanted to go back and like rent it to support it because it was that good.
Yeah.
I was telling you about
Bush. What else has he directed?
Let me see.
Gerard Bush and Christopher Renz.
Ooh. It says nothing.
Jesus.
What? There he is. Let's see. Oh, we did Shame? Oh, that's not the one I'm thinking of.
Shane is one of my all-time favorite westerns.
Not Shane, Shame.
Oh. You know, this guy did a ton.
So, I was trying to see if there's any of them that I'd seen.
Oh, this is like his first thing outside of film school, probably. Right? Because most of these all look like...
They're shorts.
Shorts.
It could be. Pull on... I
wonder how old he is. He does not have a Wikipedia.
That's what I was about to pull.
He doesn't have one.
Huh. Well, it was really good. And super intense. And
Gabourey Sidibe is in it, right? Precious?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kiersey Clemens was in it too. She was really good. Jack Houston. He was another one that was in Boardwalk Empire. Yeah. He's Whitney Houston's nephew. Or not
really?
Whitney Houston. Angelica Houston.
I was like, what? I'm not seeing it.
It's the hair.
Which one of her siblings was white? Or
he's got her hat.
Yeah, they have the same color hair, but that's about it.
That was when that Chris Rock.
And he's English.
That baby ain't mine. How do you know that baby's mine? He's got your hat.
he's also from Norfolk, England.
Yeah. Because that's
he plays the guy without like a huge chunk of his face.
The sniper.
Yes.
He's good.
Queen and Slim was cool. It was like
that was good. Bonnie and Clyde.
Sort of like Bonnie and Clyde, sort of like what's the Woody Harrelson movie? Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, which is also kind of Bonnie and Clyde. That one, Natural Born Killers, was... I agree with you because of the social media aspect of it.
Yeah.
They definitely play that up, which was new to those series. And even the story that kind of was the origin of Natural Born Killers, True Romance, didn't have any of that.
True Romance was the... Like, they're in the same universe or something?
Yeah, Tarantino wrote, or I think he wrote the initial draft of
he wrote the
screenplay
first
of
draft
Natural Born
True
Killers.
Romance. Right?
Tarantino wrote...
Oh, shit, sorry.
Tarantino wrote True Romance, and he also wrote, I believe, the screenplay, or co-wrote, or wrote the draft for Natural Born Killers.
Okay. There are several...
He even directed a scene that got cut from the movie where it's a courtroom scene where Woody Harrelson's cross-examining... let's see if we can pull that. Yeah, but it was in the middle of the movie, and you can definitely tell it's a Tarantino scene.
Yeah, he wrote but did not direct True Romance.
Yeah, Tony Scott directed it.
Have you seen 4 Rooms? Where it's like he does 1/4 of the film. Actually, you and I watched that together. Like
that was really good
when we lived together. You and I, when we lived together, it was like when Netflix was like first starting to stream
their
stuff
subsequent trial
and not just mail you DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought that DVD player that had Netflix built into it. And we remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly afterwards, they made like a PS whatever version. What was it back then? The 2 or the 3?
Probably would have been the 3.
The 3. They made a PlayStation app, and you got that and put it. You had a PlayStation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and put that downstairs.
That was the first one that had those apps on it.
Yeah, and
still use
so
it.
From the start of streaming, you and I have been kind of doing it together,
doing deep dives on the film. So this is the scene.
Hey,
you can hear
Carter.
it in the background. Yo,
Can
you hear that?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now, but it didn't look like the recording was picking you up at all.
That's fine. I wasn't talking for a long time. I was listening to you talk, and this music is playing also, which it probably can't hear.
I have to unmute it. Hold on.
What do you mean?
Oh, it's not playing the audio from the Zoom.
You're supposed to mute Zoom.
I have Zoom muted, but
I know, but you're not going to be able to hear the video I'm playing.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to figure it out.
I was just trying to show you. The audience isn't going to be able to hear it either. But God,
I love Woody Harrelson.
It's a crazy idea, like having, because he defends himself pro se in the scene, and is allowed because of that to walk freely around the courtroom.
For listeners that don't know what that means, he's representing himself.
Yeah, pro se means you're representing yourself, and you have a right to represent yourself.
Was terrified. You have to realize that most of the victims were
he's electing to do that in this scene, and because of that, he's not shackled, and he's up wandering around. Show the end of it. Yeah, now maybe this is gonna. Oh, he's just talking about it. But
dude, Oliver Stone is such a nut job.
Here you go. It's gonna show it now. So,
brother Tim.
He's walking around.
Arts abilities.
You can probably hear it now.
How long had he been studying?
I'm playing it through my mic. Can you hear that?
No. Oh, a little bit, yeah.
In the 7th grade, so
pouring water, cross-examining,
and
gargling.
That fact. Well,
the courtroom sketches are awesome.
Martial arts it was.
Well, they do that with the Supreme Court to try to maintain the allure of the Supreme Court. No cameras allowed.
Have you ever seen any of the clandestine photographs taken in the Supreme Court?
No.
There's only a
Safe
few.
to say that anybody who studied the fighting style that Bruce Lee developed, arguably the greatest fighter in the history of motion pictures, that would be a fella after 9 years who could defend himself.
There are only 2 photos.
Can you hear this?
Yes.
Well, point of fact, weren't Tim's hands and feet considered weapons like guns or knives? Yet in your testimony just now, you described that Tim kicked me 4 times to the head. Yet his trained Bruce Lee kicks had little or no effect.
He's trying to talk about how
he's 4 blows to the head like I was Superman. I lifted Tim 9 years with Jeet Kune Do Marlboro in the air and threw him across the room. And then I took this knife and proceeded to tear him. This knife to tear him, and proceeded to tear him. This knife to tear him.
What was that song? The bum 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 bum
bum weapon.
Flight of the Valkyries.
Flight of the... No, that's dun 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 dun.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. They don't always do that. You know, it's not common to let the murderer hold the murder weapon in court against the victim.
Yeah, exhibit stab.
Able to do those things you
yeah, it's incredibly dangerous.
And they're showing the sketches, like the courtroom sketches, and they're becoming increasingly aggressive and caricatures.
How was I capable?
But you can tell the dialogue has a Tarantino vibe compared to the rest of the film. Where they let him, like,
was he about to start yelling the N-word?
Only if it's contextually relevant.
Agreed.
You're not human.
This was on the deleted scenes from the
I
DVD.
thought about it a lot, and that's the only thing I could figure. You're not human. I don't know if you're a vampire or the devil or a cyborg, but you're not human!
Thank you, Grace. I just had one final question.
What?
That's the most Tarantino part of the whole thing, having his defense attorney's mouth.
I know, laughing at those parts.
Yeah.
It's like what the audience does in the theater. Like, we did that, and you laugh, and you're like, well, we're clearly some of the few fucked up people here.
Yeah.
Like at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
You want to know what this has
Oh
to do
my
with
God.
Grace
Or
Mulberry,
like
Mr. Jackson?
the
I'll tell you
Nazi
what it has to do with Grace Mulberry.
extermination
It's her
scene
time!
in Inglourious Bastards. Just like, oh man, what a treat for the senses. Okay, yeah, I've seen this before.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
The flashbacks are coming back now.
Yeah, I was like, doesn't he violently stab her in the stand? Or on the
Remember it,
stand?
but it feels familiar.
Oh yeah, this is very Tarantino.
And for some reason, they cut this from the film.
Yeah, I can't imagine why. I think it just like...
Hey, that's the guy from Identity.
Yes.
With the eye, with the crazy eye.
Hey!
So,
I'm coming to get you.
Bummer.
Now you know.
I just listened to a really cool podcast called Son of a Hitman about Woody Harrelson's dad.
You were telling me about that.
Woody Harrelson's dad was a hitman for the Dixie Mafia and for a lot of other people, and ended up killing or allegedly assassinating a federal judge and died in prison for that crime.
That's crazy.
But he claimed that he was the guy on the grassy knoll and that he helped assassinate President Kennedy.
I feel like you need evidence for that. That was...
There's a photo.
So much.
Well, there's actually, if you Google 3 Tramps photo,
scroll down past all the porn,
and yeah, right. Well, it's really famous. If you Google
that
no porn shows
up. That third Lady in the Tramp sequel. Scroll down past that.
But it is if you are familiar with Kennedy conspiracy lore, the 3 Tramps were 3 very well dressed hobos that were rounded up from the grassy knoll around the time of the assassination. And one of them, they're photographed several times, and one of them is, or appears to be, Woody Harrelson's father.
Looking particularly trampy.
Or not particularly trampy, you know?
So why'd they call him? I mean, the tramp is like a...
But they claimed that they were hobos, and they obviously weren't.
But is that the origin of the term? Like a homeless person?
Yeah,
is a tramp?
A tramp is a derogatory term for a...
like a panhandler?
Yeah, a person who travels from place to place on foot in search of work or as a vagrant or beggar. I'm a vagabond, vagrant, hobo, homeless person.
Hmm.
That type of
And
thing.
the
I'm
sound
not
of
sure
heavy
the
steps.
etymology, but I will figure that out. It's
Let's pull
derived
it. Let's
from
see.
a Middle English verb meaning to walk with heavy footsteps and to go hiking. In Britain, the term was widely used to refer to vagrants in the early Victorian period. So it's like a Dickensian term for hobo.
I guess that's because proper people walk lightly on this earth. Light footsteps.
Tramping about.
Properly. Whereas tramps simply go tramping about.
Yeah, well, certainly.
And I think that's not nice. I mean, I always thought it was because he was kind of slutty.
Ooh, back to the Supreme Court thing. So there are only 2 known photographs of the U.S. Supreme Court in session.
Mm-hmm.
And
were the tramps involved?
The first photograph was shot in 1932 by a German photographer named Erich Solomon. Solomon was hired by Fortune magazine to shoot images during a tour of America. He decided to sneak a camera into the Supreme Court by faking that he had a broken arm so he could hide the camera inside his sling. He was able to snap a stealthy photo, which was later published in Fortune and touted as the first photo ever made showing the court in session. And it's like the Roberts Court.
Oh, yeah.
Or like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
What is it? What is it called? Photo?
Or no, it might have been the Warren Court, Earl Warren. Who was the Supreme Chief Justice in 1937?
I don't know, man.
It was Roberts. Owen Roberts.
And they got a little snapshot of him, and he was wearing his robe and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're all in session. It's pretty incredible. I'll send you the link. How do I send you the link? Oh, boom.
I mean,
I just sent you a link in Zoom, the chat.
Let's see.
And then a young woman took one stealthily in 1932 and 1937.
There we go. Now we got it. Now we got it up. There we go. Now we're cooking with Crisco. Okay, that is pretty terrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts looking.
There's a lot of white men around there.
It's crazy that we don't have like every meeting of the court televised. You would think in a democracy.
The purpose is that the courts are supposed to remain neutral and not influenced by the public like that. So
yeah, that's working.
To put them on a screen, supposedly.
That's working.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they've been surprisingly.
You mean the judiciary shouldn't be politicized?
In theory.
Yeah, well, that's not happening.
Here's the other photo. That one looks even more terrifying. Why do they have to have the clock so high?
It doesn't it look very like
the Warren Court?
Like Kubrick. Like it looks like a Kubrick set.
Yeah, where they're exaggerating things like that. Like Dr. Strangelove.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah. My favorite scene in that whole movie is at the end when things are finally going, like everyone's fighting each other, and Strangelove can't help himself. He keeps having these Tourette's-esque outbursts of Nazism.
Yeah,
where his arm just keeps
keeps doing the fascist salute.
I'm sorry. It's a reaction. I cannot. Sometimes it gets away from me. I'm just excited. Yes.
Have you watched Kubrick's Boxes? Or Stanley Kubrick's Boxes?
They got video too. Did you see that?
Oh, they got video? No, I didn't. Let's see it.
It's definitely not from the.
It's from 2013.
Not from the 30s. bet this person is in
Guantanamo.
Yeah, Cuba.
This is how you get black bagged.
McCutcheon v. FEC, which has been called Citizens United.
Yeah, it's Citizens United.
That was a big case too.
Yeah, McCutcheon basically made a conspiracy documentary about Hillary Clinton, and they were using a corporate PAC to finance and distribute this film for political purposes. And the Supreme Court decided that, you know what? Corporations have the same political voice as regular human beings. So, I mean, sure, let's go with that. Then we should be able to give companies the death penalty.
Like I think if that was a legit, if that reasoning held up, then you should be able to, like the corporation should be able to vote without any humans involved. Like if it's a person, it should be able to act like a person outside of people. Like otherwise, it's just they're getting two voices. You know what I mean? The individual gets a voice, and then their voice through the company is another voice.
It's the worst decision that I think they've ever handed down.
I wonder if at the end here somebody found him.
I don't know.
He got pretty rowdy there.
Scalia died. Scalia wrote the majority opinion on that one.
I rise on behalf of the vast majority of the American people.
I think while he was like a brilliant legal mind, he's one of the biggest pieces of shit that has ever existed in this country. So, Justice Scalia is a gigantic piece of...
Did he go to the island? I didn't even hear.
Of corporate shit. No, he went to a hunting reserve down in Texas and died with like a pillow over his head.
What's wrong with hunting?
Nothing's wrong with hunting. My dad goes down there and hunts nilgai, Asian antelope, and they are delicious. Hunting for subsistence is fine. Hunting to murder is some sort of weird fucked up thing.
Dude, did you see Togo?
Is that like a Iditarod kind of thing?
It's
no molasses or
yeah. So Balto was the original story that was told that they had the cartoons about and stuff that we grew up on. And in this movie, they basically say, yeah, Balto was a punk bitch. And they told his story because he was the one that got there when the reporter was there. So Togo was the real bloodline. And
one of my best friends.
Intense.
Oh, sorry. One of my best friends growing up is this guy named Patrick Beal, and he is now the only Oklahoman to ever finish the Iditarod.
That's crazy.
He got this really cool ass belt buckle and bragging rights, basically, because so few human beings have actually done it. It's insanity.
And you know, all of the non-Alaskan names on the top of that list, they're all white people, believe it or not.
And they're all tweakers.
Well, I think that, that too. I just mean the demographic.
There's a huge crystal meth problem.
To get into that.
There's a huge crystal meth problem in that sport.
You think it's just them trying to stay warm, or?
Turns out, needing to stay kind of warm and awake for like 7 days is aided tremendously by crystal meth.
Yeah, and you know they have all that time in winter and when there's not a lot of light.
Yeah,
and you get so sleepy, you know.
And Alaska is like full of outlaws, man. Like people, if you're running from something, like that's about the furthest away you can go without having to get a passport.
I think they made TV shows about that, right? Alaskan wilderness and stuff.
Yeah, my favorite is that Nick Cage movie that's based on a true story where he takes hookers out in his bush plane to the middle of nowhere and hunts them like the most dangerous game.
Really? That seems like one that Nicolas Cage could really sink his teeth into.
Oh man, it's one of the better Cage movies out there. I need a Nick Cage serial killer. What's that one called? It's based on a true story. The true story, the killer's name, it's called Frozen Ground. And it is a biopic about Robert Hansen. Biopic. What do you say?
I think I say biopic. Yeah. But I think either one probably works.
Biopic sounds
Frozen
like
Ground.
A medical procedure. You've never seen this?
I don't think so. I'm not even finding it. What year was it?
2000. I'm sorry, Carter. 2013. The Frozen Ground. I apologize. Oh, you should totally.
I think I may have actually seen this. Yes, I did. Vanessa, yes, I did see this. This is really good.
It's a really good movie. It's a crazy story because it is 100% true. The Robert Hansen was a serial killer in Alaska that killed sex workers. Sorry, I think I said hookers earlier. But you know,
they don't like that.
Real hookers don't care. Only girls that masturbate on OnlyFans care about the distinction. Real hookers are way too busy.
Demographic.
They're knee deep in trucker cock. They could care less what you're saying on podcasts or Facebook.
Right. They have other self-esteem and self-image issues outside of their industry.
Sex workers are like girls that just don't want to go get a real job. Hookers have a real job.
And they would love to be called hooker. Usually they're called bitch and slut.
It is a really tough job.
It's a gentleman that call you a hooker. You know, I hear that rarely.
Those are the real sex workers. And they deserve a monument on the National Mall for, like, they're basically just serial killer bait. They keep serial killers and other lunatics from bothering the rest of us.
They should make an 11th commandment that is like a full page that just says, "Thou shalt not interfere with women's businesses," and put it like right next to any like make that be the new devil statue that you put next to 10 Commandment statues at Capitol buildings. Say the 11th one is, don't fuck with prostitutes, man.
Dude, like,
let them do their thing.
I mean, if the Bible taught me nothing, it's to befriend prostitutes.
Yeah, like Commandment 11, let a hoe get her hustle on.
I 100% agree.
So we'll.
And the only people that hate like prostitution are usually men that are pissed off that the price for dick is just in the dirt and always will be.
You think that they are upset because they can't sell their
meat? Sling dick? Yeah, of course. You'll never be able to sell dick. It is a seller's market for dick. It is a buyer's market for vagina. Or other way around. Sorry. Yeah. It is a buyer's market for dick. It is a seller's market for vagina.
Freudian slip. Just
yeah.
How I want the market to be.
That's how I wish it were.
Yeah.
Like the market is saturated in penis. Like
chat roulette can tell you that, you know. I've looked around. All I find is dick.
I mean, if you look at the sex offender registry, it is predominantly male and not even close. You know what I mean? Like, it is far and away men have won the creep contest.
You're starting to sound like that guy who's obsessed with the Denver airport. Now, if you look here,
the Illuminati have built a secret base underneath this is Luciferian art.
And everyone knows that this is the symbol for a phallus. And if you look here,
that's a phallus.
That's a Nazi sign. And right below that, another phallus. So
dude, I got trained at a job once by a guy. This is horrifying.
At the Denver airport.
When I was learning how to run Tidal, the guy that was teaching me to run Tidal.
Uh-oh.
I had just gotten back from California, and he asked me if I went swimming off in the Pacific Ocean. And I said, yes. He said, man, you're crazy. I would never get in the water out there. I said, sharks? And he was like, oh, no. Sharks are more scared of you than you are of them. I was like, okay, then why? And he said, well, the aliens have a base underwater off the coast of California. And I was like,
tell me more.
Oh, so you're fucking crazy. And then he proceeded to tell me
about him too.
A ton of Alex Jones bullshit. And I was like, oh no, my livelihood is now linked to a fucking insane person. And luckily, within days, I was able to find someone else to jump on board with. And I assume that crazy person is not doing too well for himself because he can't not say crazy bullshit in a professional setting.
Yeah, I mean,
though it's the oil and gas market. If you're going to be conspiracy, bro, like there are a lot of other ones that will commiserate with you.
Yeah, like about the devil and stuff like that. You can talk about that. That one gets mad traction.
They all seem to think that Donald Trump is like saving the world from pedophiles right now. I hear that at work more than I care to. QAnon,
just specifically his heroism in relation to pedophiles, though it's very odd. This one guy's really obsessed with it. I don't know. It's weird how he brings it up. Every time a kid walks by the office window, he goes, Trump's making it hard out here for pedophiles. I think it's a good thing.
Every time someone over the age of 40 tells you something like, "Ooh, I saw on Facebook," immediately tune that shit out or you're going to lose your mind. Like I can't believe...
You're saying that's not where you should get your news from?
Oh my God. Yeah, definitely not. I can't believe...
Okay.
I don't know. It's gotten this weird. It's just gotten really weird.
It's a bit weird. It's one of those weird things.
It's getting really weird.
You know what's coming out? Is it next Wednesday?
The new Indiana Jones?
Really?
Hold on.
I was thinking of South Park.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to do their pandemic episode.
Oh, man. Never mind. Indiana Jones 2020, or it doesn't come out till 2022 now. God damn.
Oh, man. God.
Indiana Jones 5. They have to give me one more good indie movie.
Where they don't fuck him.
Where they don't rape me.
Or him.
Or him. Like, George Lucas is not involved in this. There will be no, like, Crystal Skull vodka on set. It should be okay.
Nothing like that. There is a story about an extraterrestrial civilization that lives off the coast of California, but that one's pretty well established and it's probably legit.
Oh, never mind. I'm not sure if it's ever going to get made. The writer David Cope left, and Spielberg has said he's not directing. It's in pre-production though.
After that, dominating box office performance of Shia LaBeouf.
But I don't like David Cope's like addition to the series already. Like, fuck him. Get a different writer. Like, I'll write a better Indiana Jones than that. Like, he wrote The Crystal Skull.
Mm-hmm. Tell me the problems with The Crystal Skull.
It was
kind of like a remake of National Treasure.
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Which is not the way that's supposed to go.
You and I saw it in theaters together.
Yeah.
Do you not remember that?
About it. Yeah, that's why the South Park episode felt so real, because we left and we're like, God damn, did we just watch our friend?
I felt like I got like raped. Like all of those like neck beards that were like, George Lucas fucked up my childhood by making the prequels. I was like, what? It's a child's movie. Suck it up, you fat ass. And then now this happens, and I'm like, okay, never mind. I apologize for calling you fat.
And I thought that prequels had some of the best fight choreography, like the fight scenes, the sword. lightsaber
honestly,
fights from 1, 2, and 3.
I was a child when the prequels came out, and I went and saw them in theaters with my dad. I don't remember how old I was when they first, like 3rd, 4th grade, something like that. And I liked the Phantom Menace when I was that age. I really did.
I still like the Phantom Menace. I thought that. I mean, the fight scene with the
Jar Jar's a bit much. Like
that's super racist.
Retrospect,
for sure. But
yeah, like it's like Songs of the South kind of racism. Like even
they
should
have made the Gungans do blackface when they went to war.
Dude, even as a kid, I mean, I'm from Mississippi, so you have like a little bit more. I feel like people from the Deep South that aren't pieces of shit have a wee bit better grasp on race relations in the United States. And even I was like, holy fuck, that can't be okay. And I was a child, and my dad was like, Star Wars got kind of racist.
Yeah, I think they brought it up in the writing room, and they're like, "No, he's Jamaican. It's not even that black. You know, it's a different black."
Still calls.
They didn't even make it to America.
Jar Jar Step and Fetch him.
Step and Fetch him.
Yes, Step and Fetch him was in
the silent words of the Virgin Mary. Come again.
Step and Fetch him was a like blackface act. In vaudeville, or
I don't think I caught that.
Yes, it was a blackface act from vaudeville that was you would know it because like they would allude to it in
Bamboozled,
Looney Tunes a lot. Looney Tunes was incredible. Like early Bugs Bunny and stuff like that was like incredibly socially aware. Actually, it's pretty decent. I feel like I got
I know what you mean.
Pretty good sense of humor by just being like a Tex Avery kid. Like, just watching like the cartoons my parents grew up on, I got like a better sense of like older stuff. I don't know. I feel like
they did social commentary. They were adult writers for those cartoons, and back then, especially when they would have been writing them, and the people who were writing the cartoons that we came up on would have been dealing with the social justice issues of like the 60s and the 70s. So they had some heavy shit that they were still writing in. But I think that it's been unfortunate. You can tell 2020 compared to 2019, they've not released a lot of movies, so that's been a bummer. But
yeah, that is a bummer. But honestly, I think a lot of them are just like sitting in the can. You know, like there are so many movies like ready to be released, and Hollywood is
banking
very reticent to embrace like streaming and at-home viewing. I really fucking hate it when a director says like, no, this movie has to be seen in a movie theater. Like, it's the only way it can be properly appreciated. If your movie can only be appreciated if I'm getting a bunch, like, if I have to go to a movie theater, like, you made a shit movie.
Right. Well, in these times, I think you need to think about that. Like, the only way you can watch my movies is if you put yourself at risk.
I can build myself a decent movie theater in my house. And if I really wanted to prioritize that, like I could build an experience in my home that is equal to or better than a theater experience.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to deal with anyone.
You don't have to deal with any
feet on your seat or like talking.
Sounds, smells, like anything. I can watch the newest release with my pants off. I have a projector and I pirate films and feel like I get a great like a viewing experience, not by having to go to the movie theater. Like I like going to the theater, don't get me wrong, but I feel like if you are a director saying your film can only be appreciated in the confines of a movie theater, you made a bad movie.
Yeah, for these times, it's definitely not going to work. So we're probably going to have to wrap up here in a second, but
let's call this one Film Talk.
I know. I'm going to mention these last two things because we're going to talk about them next time. But we're going to do a commentary breakdown on 90 Day Fiancé B90 Strikes Back. So we're going to comment on the actors commenting on the commentators who are commenting on the actors.
That's awesome.
It's going to be very meta.
I'm very excited. And now we have figured out how to do the video. We'll have to figure out how to do shared audio on a video stream. Or
like to where you can hear what I'm showing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can put links up and send me an outline with the links or something, and I can
click along.
Them. Yeah. Click like
that's what I do on the production notes.
Follow the bouncing ball.
We kind of improv'd because we did the movies.
Yeah, I thought that was really fun. I know that's not what we planned on doing, but
hey, you know,
it was organic.
Fun. It was organic. I think that works. I think just kicking it on and starting to record and then letting it roll is the way to do it.
Yeah, I feel like you and I have lost like hours and hours of interesting conversing rather.
I agree. And I'm just going to record
an intro and
an outro.
Yeah, perfect.
That way we can put them on anything. And when we start recording, we can just kick off the recording the second we get on here, edit around the content we have, and then I'll bookend them. And
perfect.
We won't have to do like the clean intro and stuff like that like we used to.
Yeah. But Sagan's going to kill me if I don't go eat. I got to go.
Okay.
I'm in twice already and they're like, come on, there's food.